Greetings and salutation, folks. How we doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Just waiting for everyone to come and join the show.
Excellent. While we wait for everyone to, do you have any questions, suggestions, hypotheses? Any questions?
Okay, so I have a question, and it's about where we currently are at. Because in my mind, we went to the town, we did the rites, and we're now walking with them, and there's suspicion. I think that's what's going on, but I'm a little lost.
Okay. Well, first things first. There has been some time passed since our last live episode. In that time that has passed, if you notice, there is what's the title of that particular board? In open play, you'll notice that there are several posts made by various players. Those posts are to account for the time that has passed since our last episode, roughly 5, 6, a couple of days, and
Oh shit!
an undiscernible indiscernible amount of small days have passed, long enough for Ben to heal the aggravated, long enough for Mason to heal the aggravated, long enough for Joshua to have worked on Mason's face and gotten it back to its original form without necessitating any rolls. In that time, in the intervening few days, knowing what Leonti does about himself, both in terms of what his imprinted feeding type is, as well as the very real curse of his blood. For example, what would he have done knowing that he literally cannot be in the same place to rest
For more than a he can't stay in the same place twice for more than a week. He would probably, well, considering his feeding habits, his train, the specifics of his background in the military, and his purse, he's gonna be on the move, searching and looking throughout the area to get familiar with the terrain as much as possible.
Okay.
And look for a potential prey, that his potential prey.
Okay.
While
let's do this to approximate those minimum 5 days that he would have been at the church facility with the other members of his coterie. Let's do a offhanded roll to account for that. So we're going to take the 5 days, 1 die each. Then we're going to take his wits plus survival, and you're going to give me a roll with that with his present hunger. And if I'm not mistaken, his hunger was at 2 or 3?
2.
So you're
So
going
to
wits plus survival.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the survival to see if he has any in it.
And then you're going to add 5.
No, he doesn't have.
Okay, so his wits plus survival, which is whatever his wits are, plus 5. So his wits what?
His wits are 3, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's
8D.
8D.
2 hunger.
8 and 2. Oh wait, forgot the V.
Okay. So.
Shit.
So that being the case, over the intervening time since the coterie have settled in with the Children of the Dusk at the church facility here in Dalton, he has roamed and ranged. He's found out of the way places to alight for a rising sun and slept the day in various places around Dalton before it hit him. And this is coming up on the 3rd, 4th day when he's been leaving just before sunrise to find a place to bed down for the day within a mile of the church facility. He worked, and technically still works, for the Baron of South Holland. he works for Pompeo, who has extensive reach in both legitimate and criminal ventures. If anyone could directly help him, it would be his employer. However, that would mean traveling back to South Holland, Indiana, to speak with Pompeo, because he is a little more old school in regards to modern technology. No, nothing is secure as long as people work on it. So while he and his empire are electronically based, none of it connects with what he is as a member of the kindred community. It's all pertaining to his mask and unfortunately the criminal aspect as well. And while he has the high, well, his barony has the highest rate of cell towers and various other electronic surveillance technologies, he operates outside of that. He operates in the darkness of antiquated handwritten letters, face-to-face meetings, the occasional call on a landline, but he doesn't carry cell phones. He doesn't have tablets. He doesn't do any of that when it comes to any aspect of his kindred life. It is Baron of South Holland. He is invisible electronically.
Yeah.
So that would mean.
So that means I would have to go physically there.
Yes.
How long would it take?
On the slow side, if he takes the back roads and he avoids the major thoroughfares, he could reach there in just under 2 hours by car.
Okay, so.
But we do need one other role, because that role that I had you make accounted for his awareness of his area, taking in the details, the ebbs and flow of things, as well as the potentiality of his hunting. Now, in the nature of him hunting, 2 isn't enough successes, but we're going to let him succeed at cost. That cost, of course, being we're going to have him roll his resolve plus composure. And depending on his role, he's either accosted and allowed to live, or he's accosted and destroyed another kindred.
Okay, so.
Leonti is skilled. He's practiced. He has more autonomic muscle memory than even he himself is completely aware of. In the stalking for sustenance and scoping out the area in and around the church facility where the coterie is laying low and staying off the radar, he has killed. He has ended another kindred to satiate himself. Would you at this point take his hunger to 0? He didn't complete the amaranth. He didn't indulge in diablerie, but he did end prey. He brought them low and ended them, one or more of them, in his short time here in Dalton. Now, give me a quick second. I'm going to open up another. I need some notes here. Give me one quick second while I bring this up. And of course, my laptop is being its slowest self tonight for some strange reason.
Unfortunate.
It is, but tech issues happen. You just kind of gotta roll with the punches these days.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most laptops, much like mine, are too sensitive for the good old whack into place. A little quick.
Yeah, you need to give it. Right. You need to give it a good whack. Yeah. Leonti is really considering going to his boss, but he also doesn't really want to go away from his current employers. He's having this conflict of interest.
Well, that's understandable. He'd have to decide in the moment which was more prevalent to him, which mattered most. whether it's the safe and security of the hotel, at least to get information and perhaps a few safe houses around Naomi, but not too far from it, so that his worries in regards to that burning that rises in his chest, that haunts his every waking moment the night after, sleeping in the same place, would dissipate. It's hard to be a precision machine with the very real fear that you may spontaneously combust at any moment. Speaking of spontaneously combusting, good old Dr. Bishop, how are we doing tonight?
That day's been crazy, but I'm okay.
And we survived it. That's always a good thing.
Well, the note you were trying to open, is that something I might have access to see if I can pull it up quicker, or is it only something you have?
It is something you may have. Could you open a live stream for me with the whiteboard for a second? I need to decide a quick few things in regards to which, because it was a potentiality that I had already planned for, but I forget some details in regards to who were on the chopping block, as it were.
Which board do you need me to open up?
In Chronicle Roadmap. All right, pull up to the top right where the Dalton, the enlarged Dalton portion is. A little further to the right. Right there we go. All right. This has been on the Kindred of Dalton, right next to Sickness. I believe that should be Olivia, correct? Right there next to Sickness, on the same rough rank equivalent of Sickness and Olomide. Hi, Marcus. Good to have you listening in. Yeah, could you zoom in right there next to Sickness, the green and yellow in the middle there?
Wait, where did you need me to go?
The green and yellow X's, Sickness and Olomide. Could you zoom in right next to them? I just want to make sure that is, in fact, Olivia, of that rough equivalent rank. And Dalton, yeah, that is in fact Olivia. Excellent. So, thank you so very much for that. So, Leonti, in your prowling around, you, through skill, luck, chance, and very real touch of your beast, ran across a specifically unnerving ambulatory corpse. From behind, from a distance, she looked immaculate. Upon closer examination, the best approximation you could have for what she appeared as is someone with the worst case of leprosy and syphilis combined, so that her smooth, slightly pale chocolate skin is a mass of blemishes. It is destroyed, and it clearly looks to you as to what she is, a member of the kindred community. To others, it would appear as if she's suffering with some horrendous skin condition. Her physical appeal, barring her face, hands, and upper neck, gets the better of you as your hunger takes hold. In the fight that ensues, your skill and expertise after years of plying the trades of death leaves her as a pile of dust. You don't manage to diablerize her nor drain her soul into yours, but her continued existence is no one's concern after meeting you. Now, with that satiation, with the beast completely lulled into a paralytic sleep, having consumed life, even this facsimile of it, your head is considerably clearer. The choices before you are simple. To maintain as the best option of protection for your employer, Mason, you must have alternate means of resting so that you can be close enough to get to him upon the sun's set, but also secure enough that you are not concerned nor fearful of the fact you might combust. It is an unlivable position to remain in, knowing that with each breath, each lack of a breath, if you choose to not blush, that there is an opportunity for your death. At any moment, your blood could begin boiling. Your skin can erupt into flames. You have, despite not telling anyone, despite not sharing and opening up, after all, this is just a job for the most part, very real fear of being immolated from within, as if the curse of your kind, of your originator, the blood that courses through you when you choose, very much wants to burn not just you, but the entirety of the world down.
Leonti thinks it takes a few seconds thinking and goes to Mason, saying that he'll be gone for at most a day or two at most. He needs to talk to an old friend.
And so you take flight from Dalton, heading as quickly and safely towards South Holland, avoiding all the major thoroughfares on your mad dash to return to basically your Don, basically the head of your criminal empire that you are a upstanding, unionized member of. You've reached journeyman level. Your skills are a bargaining chip and have been very useful to Pompeo. The fact of him even deigning to lose you for the small amount of time until this matter is settled with whatever Mason needs speaks to how influential either Mason, his sire, or the Toreador as a whole are. There's lots of things to discuss, not as much time as you would like for them to be. And in that same token, Dr. Bishop, in the few days since you've all alighted in Dalton and begun steps of helping the children of the dust refortify themselves, or fortify themselves as best as possible. This is part of, with your experience with the less than legal, you are very much aware that this place, this church and its grounds, part of a network. You recognize the telltale sign that this is one of many safe houses, probably the most secure and central, but it's one of many. And based on the previous conversations you all had with the children of the dust when they visited you all in Gary, it is apparent that their flight from Chicago is being staged in a manner so that they can bring as many of their members as possible, as safely as possible, while still maintaining fallback positions along the way. If worse comes to worse, several of them were dispersed to various other safe houses, and while they may lose a few, we've all witnessed them doing, they as a whole would not be lost. And with Dr. Bishop's penchant for feeding on a certain type of individual by using his forceful personality to get what he needs, being as injured as he was in the flight from Gary, it is very clear that he needs. Where's his hunger at currently?
I don't seem to have the most current sheet. I had to add the damage back. I think he's 2.
Okay.
Wonder.
Okay, so he has been hungrier. He has been more ravenous, but it is a consistent, constant pressure on his mind. It keeps him from thinking as clearly as he would, but he's been in worse situations. He's been more openly at war with his beast than he is now. However, he understands that in such close proximity to others, especially others such as Dustborn, who, as much as he tries not to turn into the bias of his upbringing, he still views as not quite kindred. It's impossible for him to see them as kindred, considering with his upbringing, he barely considers anyone not specifically of Clan Shemich kindred. And fight it though he will, some things are a little harder to quite come to grips with. Namely, he knows based on scent, because of how closely they are living on top of each other, that many of them still have the grace of the sun. Many of them smell of SPF. Many of them, you watch as their hair lightens, they clearly spend more time in the sun. Many of them have that scent, freshly cut grass, the chlorophyll, as the grass screams in pain. Many of them have that heat rolling off their skin that is almost impossible to have at night, including on some of the more warm, unseasonably so nights of the area. He knows that they are not kindred enough because they still get to dance in the sun. They are not kindred enough because he's noticed that many of them breathe and blush and pale based on chemical responses in their bodies. Even blushed, those responses aren't there for any other kindred. They're just alive enough where they quantify as people he could easily feed on and get what he needs.
Sorry I was late. I just got my fucking index and I lost all track of time.
No worries. Thank you for arriving.
Jesus Christ, that's a jump scare.
Well, huh?
We're still giving him a few moments. Marcus hasn't made it home yet, but he will be there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So we're answering questions, going over hypotheses, and dealing with some of the time that has passed since our last episode.
Oh yeah, I need to watch the surprise episode.
So, Dr. Bishop, do you fight the urge to steal one or two or more of the Dustborn off to a quiet corner to conduct a in-depth examination as to the full flavorfulness of their blood?
Cool. Whew.
I think he...
Joshua.
Yeah, hear me?
Yeah, I get you.
Fucking it.
I think he would definitely feel a very strong urge. But with the recent events, he should be spending more of his time tending injured Dustborn and looking at weak points in the defenses that the Tamarilla came in last time.
Okay.
The dragons are more focused on the land as the denizens they roll over. Even now they without any land.
Okay.
Modern day.
Well, we're gonna need a little roll from you. We're gonna forego
Okay.
the rouse rolls, and it'll come down to the very real fact that, unlike any other moment of his life for the last several years, last few decades, he has spent an inordinate amount of time outside of his domain. His domain has been the healing arts. It has been surrounded by the bloody gauze, by the cries of pain that he puts to ease, by the real emotional effects of being around the wounded, by extorting them for their precious blood. Once he heals them enough, the memorabilia, the collected samples and tissue matter that he keeps as sign of what it is that he is. What he does is what he is. It is part of what he considers the soil of his homeland, basically. So we're going to have a resolve and composure roll.
Oh,
Did you get that?
Yeah, does Hunter come into play for a Bane roll like this?
Does what? Hunger?
Does
Yes.
Hunter come into play? Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense. Alright, 2 successes.
Oh. All right. That being the case, my dear friend, in the course of tending to the infirmed, to the weakened, to the Dustborn who, while you haven't informed the rest of your coterie, you spotted them out, who are on the hustle, who are on the graft, who indulge in the most pernicious of evils, common crime. They beat the streets, they con, they grab, they steal, they break in, they do all manner of things, and you sussed out which few amongst those who frequent the central church facility as those who are engaging in such activities. In the doing, however, you've fallen prey to your own very real beast, and doing an attempt to repair the damage of their activity, to ease their pain and comfort their torment, your beast rouses. And though you try to control yourself and have done admirably well thus far, today's the day, as they say. And so you come more fully to yourself, both hands resting on the chair, you hovering one knee in the seat of the chair over this particularly criminally minded individual who has suffered several breaks, who suffered several tears, contusions, and lacerations over the last few days, meaning that while he is dedicated to his job, he is not very good at it. He's ripe sort of rank criminal that you could have your way with. And you are a full threat in before you realize what you've begun. Your canines lengthening into place, your mouth filling with the saliva necessary to drink down the Ganges River, and your beast riding you as if you are the finest of thoroughbreds. And the question is, do you continue? Take what you need? Do you ease your own pain and gather some semblance of strength.
I guess nothing more pragmatically, a full-fledged vampire that, like himself, with healed wound would be much better in a raid than one Dustborn. I think he would drink not too deeply, enough to leave him alive. And leave him here in the base, as well as it's not one of the injured.
There is a time that comes when you have your favorite food, and you go to your favorite restaurant to get your favorite item off the menu, and then they do something a little different. And instead of it being god awful, it's actually better. And as you sink fangs into this particular Dustborn, you realize that while human by kind, breathing life is good, this Dustborn, who you scared to absolute death with threats of telling Eric or Toinette as to their activities by revealing if they don't play along. When they play along, the fear so potent in their blood it causes your hair to stand on end, and then that precious liquid coating your throat you realize is the perfect blend of kindred vitae and human blood. It is the more refined version. It's like taking your beer, the essence of beer, and giving it the punch of whiskey. This is delicious. And it's with no shame at all that you find yourself licking your lips and savoring as your teeth run across as your tongue runs across your teeth as you finally pull away, leaving him just alive enough to go hunt and find and seek and do what he needs to do to make himself better. You're done with him. Be gone. But you realize that this stuff, for a vat of this, you would give someone else's eye tooth. Absolutely delectable. And you know instantaneously why Mason is so very much smitten with Toinette.
Am I getting personally attacked here?
Oh no, that happens later.
That happens later. Oh right, that guy got pissed off.
Joshua just has a sneaking suspicion why you're so involved with these guys. Not just for the political reasons, but for sustenance.
And speaking of Master McGinnis, over the course of the few days since our last episode, when you settled in with the Dustborn at the church facility, there's spaces, of course, and lucky for your sensibilities, Toinette actually does have a space that is slightly more fashionably appointed. It is, of course, like all of the other rooms assigned to you all and provided for you all in the basement of the church facility, but hers is, strangely enough, Middle Eastern inspired, filled with silks and burners and incense, and it very much looks as if you walked into a stereotypical idea of what Jasmine's bedroom would look like from Aladdin. There are draperies and silks on the walls and tiger skin rug thrown tastefully. It literally looks as if you walked into a fantastical version of what Middle Eastern culture actually is.
Nice.
In the midst of the last few days, while Marcus, Ben, and Joshua have busied themselves fortifying this position, you've been fortifying yourself with Toinette.
Yep, makes sense.
You all have been engaging in touches, glances, glimpses, and so much more oftentimes beginning in the more public areas because it revs the engine a little bit to let everyone know just how well appointed you are when it comes to engaging in this socialization. Over the week, over the last few days, you've learned several things. Whether you decide to share with your coterie or not is up to you at a later point, but one of those is that there is a significant shift and a shrift between several factions of the Dustborn. There are Dustborn who are wholly involved with the Chicago disco, which is one of the many reasons why the Dalton incident happened when the Queen of Spades became no more. They have been embedding themselves in various factions of Kindred Society for the last 200 years. Everyone believes that Dustborn are a new thing, as if the Thin Blood are a sign of the apocalypse. If that was the case, the end days happened centuries ago. And while it's a hard pill to swallow, the fictional writer portion of Mason's mind immediately latches on and he begins to see the very real touches at the edges of things. Thinking back to the very first night where he met Toinette, it was as if it was destined to happen. She even knew of his writings, which could have been used as blackmail if he was politically connected. Luckily for him, he's not. But it showed the level of attention that most did not pay, and most directly flattered his vanity. He finds that the Dustborn have been in contact with each other and various other entities through the app called Byte. He finds out that this faction, the Children of the Dustborn, are only one of many such large, far-ranging cults, organizations, or gangs that band together and bond for strength and security. This particular evening, Toinette and he, having lingered just long enough after sunset to be considered having slept in, she rolls atop him and rests against him, her skin growing warmer as her blood that they've shared begins to circulate much more within her. And he notices that depending on how deeply he feeds, it takes longer for her warmth to return, but it does return naturally, as if she actually still has circulation. She doesn't have to force it. She doesn't have to fake it. She is as close to living as a dead thing can be, but even that has its cost. Even that, you notice that while she doesn't need to feed every day, she does need to feed about twice a week. And according to her, the longer she remains in this state, the more she'll have to feed. The twice a week is so that she maintains as living as she possibly can. She could actually probably only feed twice a month. But as she rolls atop Mason as they lay and linger in her bed.
Probably Mason probably says hits on her. But also shows a little concern for if he's drinking too much.
Oh no, I'm fine. I will probably have to visit a few friends. I'd like you to come along if you think your friends could do without you for the night.
Yeah, they probably can. Probably want to be away from me, to be honest. I kind of piss some people off.
You're pretty good at that. I guess it's your hot-blooded nature, huh?
Probably.
While I appreciate your passion, you are going to definitely have to keep a tighter hold on it around others.
Yeah, but the guy I pissed off was someone from my past. I'm pretty sure.
As old as you are, isn't everybody someone past?
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm not as old as some other vamps that I know.
That's kind of something I'd like to talk to you about.
Hmm.
And she rises, moving away from Mason, across the room, going on
Mason would probably put on his clothes too.
She throws on a robe and sits, because you know that as per usual, she'd like to do her makeup and make sure that she looks as best as possible. While the Dustborn don't show any of the curses of various different bloods, they do occasionally, as you've noticed, show signs pointing towards a particular bloodline, a particular clan. And in her case, it's clear that it's either her maker was either Toreador, True, or some other stereotypical up and all concerned about social position. Toreador, Ventru, Tremere, one of the high clans, clearly. At least that's the way that Mason has described her behavior. She's crass enough and direct enough, but she's also concerned with how things look, the appearance of things.
So, Venture or Toreador.
Mace, you know I appreciate you. I really do. I don't want to get all mushy and embarrass you here in this little nation of our own. But I, just like you, I haven't been completely honest. And I'd like to talk about that.
Mason tilts his head huh? And go and basically okay.
You know that we're
what's
hunted.
up?
You know that
What?
we're hunted, right?
Yeah.
You know that the Scourge from Chicago stalks our steps, and whenever there's too many of us in a place, or someone decides to inform on us, or she has her spies in the area, she calls our number. She takes us out. Well,
She, as in. Wait, did she say the name and I'm just being stupid?
no, she just said Alexa, the Scourge of Chicago. Well,
Alright.
as much as Alexa and the shelter and occasionally even the sheriff, from what I understand, preys on us, it's not exactly one-sided. It's not exactly just them victimizing us. And while we, me, Eric, and the others here, don't take part in that little war, I wouldn't feel right if you didn't at least meet them, if you didn't get to know them. I know that you're having troubles, and I know you've angered whoever that was from your past, and I know that you've angered Silk. I know that you clearly pissed off Ben, and with Leonti leaving, I know we're going to need more protection. He says only 2 days, but he's your best fighter, isn't he?
Probably. He did kill 2 people almost instantly on our when the farmers market went down.
So because
he did.
So because of that, I think we should visit the more militant arm of us. And they're not too far from here, but it would mean that it would have to be just you and me. We can go and visit them. You can make friends. You can make contact and potentially, hopefully, enlist them to help. Because I fear for you.
Got nothing to fear from. Fear. Well, never mind. I do occasionally go a little insane.
Yes, and unlike your friends, I think that you are You understand us a little bit more. You know what it's like to be on the outside. You know what it's like to be looked over or to be not considered based on everything that you've shared with me about your sire. Someone else controlling your every step and every
Mm-hmm.
the very real pension of death. All too close.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the coterie can spare me for a few days. And besides, they probably need it.
Excellent. So get dressed properly. We're going to be meeting a very militant arm of the Children of the Dusk.
Honey,
They-
please, I'm always dressed properly.
This is not a place where she looks at his shoes.
Wait, does he wear the type of shoes I wear? Or, no. I wear Samuel Hubbard's and fucking New Balance.
He more than likely would not be wearing balance, but yeah, he is definitively very stylish loafers and little Italian boot cut, handcrafted, hand tailored,
Yeah.
hand cobbled. It's definitively
Yeah, probably,
stylishly
like,
bespoke.
probably 10 grand shoes, probably, right?
Roughly, he's already made 2 significant purchases with his resources. His resources is 4, correct?
5.
Okay, so he has 3 large rows left in this particular season. So hopefully he spends wisely. Now, as you and
Wait,
she,
is my jacket done then?
Hmm?
My jacket that I sent in to get bulletproofed and fixed.
yeah, there's no bulletproof in actual coats, but close enough.
Close enough. Thank you.
While you all dress and make your way south to Chicago Heights, which is actually far closer than it seems. Only, it's 3.5 miles from where you are to Chicago Heights. However, in that distance, while Dalton is a town, and it's part of Thornton Township, but it understands its place in things. It's one of the central municipalities of Thornton Township, but it's smart enough to never call itself a city, because Gary is a city and has been on the decline for longer than most of its population has been alive. Gary has given itself over to depression, despair. Gary fights to only slip slightly. Dalton has never bothered to fight. Dalton is a city of entrepreneurs. There are more business owners per capita than there are people in the village of Dalton. Every person, or more nearly every person, has a business or an enterprise or a proprietorship that they are pursuing and working and using social media and marketing themselves. And you see the signs, the placards everywhere you go. You see the few telephone poles outlined purposely with flyers to pull tabs of all manner of businesses, from car cleaning services to children watching services to from child care to senior care, from health aids to beauty aids. Everyone has a business, everyone has an angle to work, and that drive and that strive to do is apparent. However, Chicago Heights is as country as you can be and still be considered part of the urban north. The homes are further apart and closer to the ground. The businesses, no business exists higher than 2 stories. The streets are wider. The front yards look like backyards in other places. There aren't many alleys. Most of the garbage is curbside. This is very much suburban by every extension of the word, except for on their main strip and their main street. As you're rolling through, you see the peopling about and hanging out. It looks very much like the south side of Chicago or the west side of Gary. People who probably live 4 block lives. But here, instead of it being mean mugs, people taking pictures or live streaming anything, it's people waving or looking to make sure there's somebody in the car that they know that they can wave to. It is different. As different as Monday is from Friday. And with everyone settled, based on Ben and Marcus is starting off the season with their starting off the next episode with their preview. With Joshua having a grasp and a grip as to the less than open secret criminality of the Children of the Dusk. Leonti on his way heading to see Pompeo, the Baron of South Holland, and Mason and Toinette sliding along toward Chicago Heights. Marcus, are you settled in and home yet?
Yep. Oh. Yeah. OBS is started.
Excellent.
Well, if you settle back at home, the vamp hunters are gonna get them.
Excellent. So, with that understanding, with everyone on their way with their various missions and the very tasks before them, I want to thank you all for sharing this time with me. I wanted to say very much that I do appreciate all the time that you guys have given and given us the opportunity to watch as the coterie has expanded and grown and become the people that they are while we share this lovely hobby of ours. And I also want to say that this is officially Steel Hearts, Rusted Souls, Season 2. You steel to sharpen steel. When we last left our coterie, they were each about their appointed rounds. And we're going to begin in alphabetical order with Ben and Marcus as they turn toward the door. And Naomi is standing there in her red dress and cashmere long coat, her clutch matching perfectly the shade of auburn of her boots that rise tastefully and slouch just so beneath her dress. Stephen, I believe that I can handle it. The weight of her presence is significant. This is not a woman that lightly nor easily grants access to themselves. Because after all, the halls of power are anything but congested. Yet here she stands, clearly prepared for a meeting of some sort. And as Stephen smiles and nods, waving the clipboard and the tablet that he's gotten donors after having just mentioned it. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to follow me to the office?
Of course.
Now, Marcus, were you the buddy cop that was determined to watch people? If that is the case, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll wits plus awareness? Your target number 3. Okay, so as you and Ben move along the hall behind the click-clack of her clearly handmade boots, you all ascend to the second floor, down the hall and into the area where you all had not been allowed. There are 4 suites in this area of the building. And she heads to the rearmost. Has windows on both sides, and she lets up the shades as she moves into the office, leaving the door open. Not bothering to turn on the overhead light, she turns the desk lamp, and it is the old green tinted shade desk lamps, the kind that looks as if it could be directly wired into a house's power instead of just plugged in. It is solid and clearly weighing at least 20-25 pounds. And without removing her coat, she sits her clutch on the desk and settles into the desk chair.
I'm giving every indication of awaiting her pleasure.
Sit.
I pull out a chair for Ben and then sit myself down.
Ben, did we lose you?
No, I don't think so. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
She's just gonna fluff her skirt out and take a seat.
We normally don't get donors this late. Is there a message from someone? Is this a friend of a friend sort of moment?
It's not so much a friend of a friend. It's someone trying to curry favor.
Really? And who might be attempting to curry favor?
Well, the unfortunate truth is, it's me.
It's you.
Well, you see before you a relatively young man who's found himself in a bit of a pickle and who is not privy to rumors as such. I don't know how up to date you are in the workings and actions in Gary for the last, say, week. I find myself to be an unfortunate victim of circumstance, and I don't know a lot of people out and about. Your name is one of the very few that I've heard at all outside of Gary. And I find myself in need of possibly getting a second residence.
She doesn't say anything. She doesn't say anything. She merely stands and moves to the door, closing it and locking it before moving back to her seat behind the desk. First things first. Which of our wayward family members did you speak to?
Which of our wayward family members have I spoken to?
Of her.
Of you? Well, your name comes up as a source of influence in this area in some of the circles that I've run in. So, like I said, I don't know what you know of Gary, but I've dealt with the underground a fair amount over there because of the skills that I have. I blush a little to say that my skills are sought after, and so it puts me in touch with a lot of wayward family members.
Very well. Do you have a letter of introduction?
I come to you completely hat in hand at this point.
That is unfortunate. That will increase the rates necessary. I normally assist only after proper introductions. After all, there's only so little vetting that we can do to assure our own safety and security in these matters.
Well, that's why I was hoping to make this small donation now and possibly meet later in a more formal setting.
That is wise. That is very, very wise. Did you perhaps go to my alma mater? Was there an agoge in your past as well? Are you a graduate?
I have been trained up to a point when it was deemed necessary for me to know.
I see. Okay. Well, of course, being part of the fraternal order, I can make certain discounts for you. There are several people involved in this enterprise in regards to passage and safety. And while it may seem as if this is something illicit, this is with the full understanding of the Domme of our area, if you understand.
Yes. From my training, I understand that the Domme requires many of the same etiquette maneuvers that a prince might.
You are learned most indeed. That is correct. Our particular CEO of this corporation is considerably far more communist in their ideals, and it is occasionally problematic. However, I am making inroads so that there is an actual board of trustees that can assist in curtailing the CEO's rampant and random socialism. But as far as passage for you and your associate, if I may, Miss.
Ben just kind of smiles because they've been listening and filing things away, and some of the puzzle pieces that they got at the meeting with Geneva are starting to fall into place as to why Geneva wants to get rid of this person. But yeah, in response to being addressed, she puts on a very bright smile. Yeah.
Are you also part of our extended mutual associations, or are you here at the behest of someone else? Are these two separate matters that we're dealing with, two separate donations, or is this all in line?
This is all in line. Marcus is the brains, and I am, as you can see, she flexes her arm.
Quite lovely.
The bronze.
Yes.
So I kind of make sure that he stays out of trouble, such as it were.
Okay, very well. Are you staying here in the village, or are you staying elsewhere?
Well, that was one of the things that I hope to clarify, because I don't want to impose on anyone's demons. Our needs are short-term and fluid. As events evolve in Gary, we might have to change plans yet again. But such is life. But my understanding, and my understandings are fairly vague. I tend to stay out of family dealings as much as possible, but my understandings are that Dalton and Riverdale are areas of internal fortification, as well as membership in the broader range around the Windy City.
I've seen that you spent some small bit of time around the Sensates, obviously. That was quite a merry chase, but luckily I'm a little more persistent than most would believe. I'm impressed. Your housing situation is your housing situation to get you properly settled. Once we get you properly settled, would you prefer to reside here in the village, in the outlying areas, or would you prefer to have introductions made for your visit to the city proper?
Well, my concerns in Gary are still ongoing, as are my friends. And we would want to be towards that direction.
Everything outlying areas might be best due to being central to both Gary and the village. A nice space so that we can reach where we need to, when we need to, without it being too much of stepping on anybody in particular's toes.
Oh, well, then you're very much in luck. I understand that are quite a few tracts of land, not very much far from here. Have you heard of Calumet City or perhaps Chicago Heights? It is very much right on the border of many things. And it's just removed enough that with a little luck, a little elbow grease, you could make it your own. That is what you're after, isn't it?
Well, we are looking for a base outside of the happenings of Gary that we can use to continue our endeavors in that area.
Excellent. Do you have a security force at your disposal? If you do, I would suggest Chicago Heights. It is contested currently, but I'm making inroads through an agent to ensure that the direct violence is lessened.
And this would be up by south of South Chicago, yes?
Yes, yes. So I was surprised someone from across the border is as aware of the smaller municipalities as that.
Part of my list of skills is an obsessive tracing of maps. I like to know the broader area physically, even though I don't get involved personally as much.
Understandable. To be prepared is to be forearmed, as they say. I do have a meeting that I need to attend to later. However, if you are of an accord, I can take you on a small tour of the area, provided your donation clears.
Oh, my donation will clear and be untraceable.
Very well. And with that, she unlocks the drawer to her right, taking it that this will be an electronic payment.
Yes, I've got a
Yes.
SIM stick for you.
She pulls out a laptop, and that is not just a laptop that you would see at the Apple Store or anywhere in Best Buy or Walmart or even Tiger Direct. This is a fully functioning, secured, satellite-enabled laptop. It could take being dropped from a helicopter. And she sits on the desk, types in a 16-key password, and you hear it begin starting up.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that anytime soon. That is a wonderful piece of equipment.
Why, thank you. It took some doing. Former associate. Perhaps you've heard of him. Or perhaps not. It's all localized here in Illinois. There was a network of associates, a hacking network, I believe they call themselves, or hacking team. Either way, I secured their skills.
Circular, quick question. Is there anything reflective behind them? Like, you know how some people have like glass cabinets or I wouldn't think monitor or anything, but something that she's sitting in front of that's reflective.
No.
Okay, because I was going to see if Ben's vision, being as keen as it is, could catch the reflection of the screen, but I guess not.
No, there's nothing reflective directly behind her. A wits and awareness, difficulty 6, and Ben roughly remember could pick out some details as to which keys were struck behind which. There's a musical intonation of mechanical keys. Each key has a slightly different sound, but only because it is a mechanical keyboard instead of the more standard style keyboard. Once she's done entering her password, she turns the screen. She literally rotates it around. The keyboard is still facing her. Your banking, routing up. She brings up the log on an app for a electronic transfer.
And I pull out the memory stick. This will be a purely Bitcoin transaction.
Oh, I see.
So I drop the memory stick into the USB port, and it's simply a Bitcoin registration number for trying to figure the exchange rate. 4.8 Bitcoin.
Oh, well now. I see that you've come very much prepared. And she gives it a few seconds. The chain is verified. She logs into her wallet. The information transferred. There's a signature there. And a few other steps to secure the authenticity. And once she hears the clicking, bing tone of a successful transfer, she logs back out. And unlike most, she actually needs a password to log back out as well, to ensure that a single user, the person responsible, has accessed the unit.
Okay.
Interesting.
While the screen is facing him, he of course goes full nerd. The screen itself would is it Windows based? Is it a custom Linux?
It is custom.
It's a custom
Really?
Linux. Okay.
Yep.
Oh god. I don't even think my 9 dice will get through that nightmare. Not in the next 3 hours it won't.
No, but with a success over at 6 or better, you would open a connection. You'd be able to track its physical location.
No. It's this laptop. The only way I'm attacking it is if I have 3 or 4 good days, or I'm prying it from her cold dead fingers. I'm leaving this nightmare alone. I've got I've got the basic information of the outer network that exists in the building, so that's really all I need for what we're trying to do. But yeah, that laptop is going to be on his bucket list.
As she logs out, she smiles because that was the easiest, most direct surprise meeting that she's had in quite some time. She quickly looks at her watch, and we do have enough time to take a quick tour if you want to follow me. And she moves to, instead of moving back into the building, she leaves the door locked and slides the file cabinet so that a door appears. My car's right outside. Right this way.
I stand and wait for Ben to stand.
Ben stands, and she's kind of the last one out of the room, and taking one more quick glance around.
Ooh, it is the levels of security that Naomi has, the double life of a charitable individual, as well as her position on the Senate, and it's clear she has connections with the city itself, with Chicago itself, as well as clearly plans on expanding her grip on the south suburbs. There's a paranoid separation, with the only single connection point or intersection being the organization of shelters and outreach communities, even the houses. It's clear from Ben's experience that each place one of these installations are is a flag on a map of her conquest of the area. You've officially moved from frying pan into the fullness of the fire. There's no doubt, and even with the two successors, there's no doubt in Ben's mind that Naomi is shrewd enough, direct enough, and the fact that her presence lays so heavily over the meeting, kindred enough to figure things out and drive toward their end run. As you all exit, there's a bulletproof SUV waiting downstairs with two men dressed in livery, waiting. And the fact that she doesn't bother to lock the door lets you know that the file cabinet can be moved, or at least accessed from outside the building, meaning they could have entered at almost any point if the alarm was sounded. So while it appeared as if she was alone with you all, and while she was physically in the office, help or assistance was literally a blink of time away.
Again, taking note, because they need to come up with a plan, and soon. But yeah, all this is being paid attention to. Now, what I'm thinking you're saying is that it feels like Naomi might just be setting them up now that she's been paid, or am I just imagining that?
A healthy dose of paranoia is always a very good thing with any kindred.
There's a group of men called the Firm.
Being clears your throat. Marcus, I don't know about leaving the car. Maybe we can just take it and follow Nicole to where they're going. I mean, either way, I feel really bad about leaving the car here.
Hold on. Ms. Naomi, would you be terribly askance if we followed you? That way you could proceed to the meeting after showing us the place.
I prefer not to leave you in the area alone. As I said, it is currently in the midst of being contested, but if you believe that it would be safer in your vehicle, by all means.
Well, not so much safer, but easier for you. Because we would just be looking at the property and then immediately leaving back to our temporary digs.
Very well. If that is what suits you, I will not hold you. But in the case that we are separated, Walter, yes, Miss Naomi, please take down their information. And with that, she moves to the car, and the other security opens the door for her so she can step in. Walter is exactly what you would expect from an older gentleman who has spent far too long taking punches. He's seemingly slow, but you can tell that it's not slow. He's maintaining his balance, keeping you all at arm's distance, being aware of any weapons that may pop out, even as he removes his cell phone and hands it to you. Would you be so kind? This is a Google-based phone.
Okay, this time I actually enter information.
Would you like to call yourself from the phone? Do you have the number?
Well, unfortunately, in the course of removing myself from Gary, my phone ended up in the bottom of a river. And I would prefer not to share your number with the person who's allowing me to use their phone.
I understand, but it is quite alright. This is the only non-secured manner in which Miss Naomi contacts others.
Okay.
As such,
Well, my I have taken steps to secure this phone, so that could work.
very well.
And I look at his screen and type in the number and shoot him a text so that he now has this number.
He looks at it. Very well. And he slips the phone away. If you'll follow us. And he moves to the driver's seat and begins the short, though strangely long drive into the Chicago Heights area. And as Ben and Marcus follow Naomi and her armored SUV through the streets of Dalton, heading south and slightly east, we switch our gaze back to the good Dr. Bishop. You have discovered so very much in such little time. And as you are contemplating several paths of thought, several balances, there's a knock at your open door. And standing there is Faustin and another young lady. The shorter of the two, of course, is the other young lady who has bright red hair pulled back into a severe top knot. The sides have been shaved. Her brow is lined, and she's dressed in shorts, slip-on sandals, and the Ultimate Fighter leather jacket, the sort that you would find at a resale shop. Underneath, you're sure that she's wearing a tank top, but that's hard to say exactly. Maybe nothing, and maybe the tank top. You're not sure. Hey, Dr. Bishop?
Hello. I didn't expect any company here.
Yeah, I noticed. You like to sew them up and throw them out. But like the nerd and the muscle, they went for a drive on the town to take care of something. They said we should make sure you have a bite to eat. And don't take this the wrong way, but you seem like a guy with a white van to me. So this is Zane. Zane is a 3-time bantamweight martial artist. And I told her that you like to take it, and she likes to take it. So there is a chance that there may be a love connection, or at least a feeding connection here. I'm not overstepping, am I?
Don't you like to how do you say this? Punch my weight when it comes to finding a bite to eat. I usually more half anesthesia or restrained patients.
Oh. See, I didn't peg you for the sort of like guys, but the guys didn't want to hurt you. But okay, I'll go ask around. Zane looks a little disappointed. It is clear from the frown on their face that they were looking to beat the hell out of somebody, and that somebody had been hyped up to beat you.
Well, sorry to disappoint.
Yeah.
What did you say about my two associates out on business?
Yeah, they need to go dress up and go meet some folks. They were going down to the Adonis to talk to pretty much the Prince of Dalton, but it's not really they're not called a prince. They're called like Dominator or the Dominant. And
The Dominator?
Yeah, the Domme. Yeah, that's it. They went down to see the Domme at the Adonis. I told them they shouldn't be going to, poke with strong, influential kindred like yourself, but they were pretty set on it. Are they dating?
Not to my understanding.
They got all dressed up. They looked like a redneck prom. The muscle was
Ben is probably one of the most ancient vampires I've met so far.
You could have fooled me. She all but did the ooh woo when looking at the nerd.
I'm sure it was just play. I don't think vampires of that age have much for like petty relationships. Once you probably live thousands of years, you only look for people who are worth your time.
I don't know. They look mighty chummy. I even let them borrow my car because they wanted to put on a good impression.
Okay, wait, out of character. They're going to the Dawn, the same place I went to,
No.
right?
No.
Okay, I was just confused for a second. Okay, sorry.
Well, that definitely piqued my interest. I had no idea they were going to this important meeting.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm trying to tag along.
they were all dressed up. I don't think you had the right fashion look for them.
My garb is acceptable.
Yeah.
He looks down to his half-burnt undershirt and tattered lab coat.
Yeah, definitely white van material. I'll go find one of the guys and bring them back for you. Of course, the guys, they're not as tall as you are, but they definitely outweigh you. You sure you don't want to try Zane? Like, nah, he's scared.
I'm still recovering from the buckshot and cesium rounds large in my dead flesh. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just trying to take care of you. They said, you could use the help.
So Adonis, right? Nightclub?
The Adonis? Yeah.
I think I'll make my way down there.
That's a good idea. You should go. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Silky smooth. And I'll leave you to it. And Faustin leaves with Zane. And as Faustin leaves with Zane and Doctor, Bishop begins preparing to leave, head into downtown Dalton. We shift our gaze to Leonti, who's pulling up to Pompeo's South Holland McMansion. That's literally what it is. It's just a 6-bedroom home. However, it is definitively a McMansion. The grounds that it sits on and the fact that it's actually not in South Holland but still receives South Holland tax rate and has the South Holland police occasionally visiting is a testament to the various political connections of the Baron of South Holland.
Well, let's see. What if I can convince him.
As you move into the property, you realize that there are several other cars here that you don't recognize. They are all limos of one shape, fashion, or form, from the SUV stretch to the Lincoln car stretch. And there are roughly 16 clearly security individuals standing around outside, all dark suited, some wearing ties, most smoking. There's a dark-haired swarthiness about them. And while you don't get close enough to overhear any conversation, you are almost positive that those meatheads are for Don Pompeo's guests.
Yeah. So, well, this might take a little bit more than a day. Well, let's see if I can get in.
Getting in is not a problem. You are a recognized entity. You are part and parcel of the staff, for lack of a better word. Though you're a more expert mechanic, a special every once in a while versus an everyday situation. But as you make your way in, you see the head door guy who handles frontline security for the Don. He sees you. Like, hey, Leonti, they're in the middle of a meeting. Post up for a sec. Give me a second. Let me send somebody in. Make sure that it's cool. Where you been?
Yeah.
I thought you won the job.
I just needed to come by. I needed to come by, Dad, for a favor.
No, completely understandable. I ask for favors all the time. That's the reason why I have to work so many hours. Hey, yo, go see if they busy. Why don't they just fucking go? Then he sends off one of the little runners, one of the low men on the totem pole, probably is higher as far as the security team. So how's that job you're on? Doing is good? Is it?
Interesting. Currently fighting vampire hunters. Killed 2 of them so far.
That's all? Slow night for you, huh?
Yeah, we were attacked by a death squad. That was actually slightly surprising.
So, let me get this right. You're on loan and this loan that you're on involves people running around thinking that vampires are real. And they send their stupid guys at you.
Yeah, me and a group of big egoed vampires who think that they're all that. They're all that. One of them even tried to disgrace a high I can't remember if it was outside. I can't remember if it was out of character. I can't remember if it was a Baron. It was a Baron, correct?
No, it was a Volbot. Yeah, but basically a Baron.
Yeah. One of them insulted a Volva right to his face.
It takes all types. Some people with big balls don't know how to carry them. Don't want to use them.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, that's my employer.
Ouch.
Yeah. You can understand why I need a favor.
Yeah, I get it. Not everybody can be Pomp. And the new guy comes running back. Hey, yeah, you can come on in, but you gotta. And I don't want to. What the fuck is the message? You gotta kiss everybody hello. What? You sure you want to go in there, Leonti?
You know what? I've done worse in my life.
I wish you luck.
I'm gonna need it.
You definitely are. The older one definitely like a man eater.
Yeah. Well, Leonetti goes in. And introduce.
Did we just lose internet? How long was it out last time?
business dealings, you have never seen him be more restrained. He doesn't even rise to debate. Yeah, I'll be letting you know. Goodbye, my mechanics. Goodbye, Sierra. See you all around. 2 days, right? Yeah? By 2 days. Not in 2 days. By 2 days. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, let me talk to my guy. They get up and step outside. Don't go nowhere. Just let me talk to my guy. I'll see you guys in a bit. The moment that they leave the room, their 6 security officers follow, leaving you and Pomp alone in the office.
Well, we both know that I'm here because shit hit the fan at my work, with my work, and I need a favor.
Okay, this could potentially be arranged. We can take it out your salary, but or we can work on a trade of sorts. You know who those were, right?
Yeah. Could you catch me up a little bit?
Well, it seems as if the CNT are looking for places outside of Gary and outside of Chicago. And they got their eyes set on one of the other suburbs, but they need some help with a couple of tag and bag operations in the city. In the meantime, keep people unaware that they're not actually still in full operation. They pay pretty well. It'll be a short job, but I don't know if I really want to waste you on that. They are particularly problematic, requiring extreme skill, but the risk is also extreme.
Tag and bag.
Yep.
I could definitely do it.
That's not the doubt part. Doing it and getting away with it are two different things. And unfortunately, the big city is fucking chock full of nosy Nellies and wars. The big city is so bad, even the cops are crooked. There's one thing getting away from an honest cop, there's a whole nother getting away from a guy who's on the make. And Prince Jackson, for all of his, isn't as dumb as people think he is. Which is saying a lot, because most princes are far dumber than most people think they are.
Wait. If it was just me, I'd have a difficult time getting away with it. But if I could bring some people along with me, I might be able to get it done. It might be a little bit easier to get done, especially one dude, a silver-tongued smooth talker. He might be able to give me the distraction I need to get away with it.
Why don't you bring him in? We'll give him a quick look over, see if he's up to stuff.
Yeah. I'll have to go and grab him.
All right, sounds like a plan. You go take care of that. You bring him back here. We'll give him a look over, see if he's really worth the effort, and whether we can take the job. Remember, the fucking Castigliones, they ain't no joke. While I'm no joke, they're even less of a joke. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But before you leave and get this buddy of yours, what's the deal? What do you need?
I need help. We're kind of on the run. Some vampire hunters are being way too organized. And one of our guys kind of did one of the most stupid things that you could do and got some of the highest, some of the leaders of the place we were staying mad at us. and we're kind of hanging out in the desert with the Desert Born right now. I just need some stay. You know me. I can't stay in one place for too long. I need some home bases to keep guard of my clients.
So you got hot feet again. Okay, we can work that out. Who'd they piss off?
I don't care. I cannot remember the name of this guy. The people that we pissed off. Who are they?
Try being in multiple chronicles and having multiple people have a similar name. His name is Decibel.
Yep, that's about album. Yes.
Could somebody just type that type that up, because I'm not going to remember it if I just hear it.
If you look at the whiteboard, he's one of the security advisors.
Somebody pissed off Decibel.
Fucking hell. So you mean to tell me the one guy who kept the Castigliones from moving through the south suburbs, they pissed off?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Well, you know, ass don't taste as bad as you think it should. You might have to do a little more than just kiss the ass. Maybe get a tongue up in there or whatever. You want him on your good side as best as possible. That guy, I'd go to war with anybody, including the fucking Castigliones if I have to. That guy I'm not gonna go up against, because before you know it, your house is filled with rats that can talk. Your furniture is your former best friend, and he makes shoes out of your family members. And they still be alive.
Yeah, that guy. Thanks for the warning. I'll try to make sure that dipshit kiss some ass to get that to fix this problem.
So, being as we know that he's the Voivod of the south suburbs, you are not dumb enough to be in his territory, right? You're not in the township over there.
Are we?
You are still hanging out in Gary, right?
I'm actually out of character. Are we? Because
Yes, you are in Dalton.
We still we're in Gary. Yeah.
You're in Gary? Oh, well, that's not so bad. He normally doesn't really go outside of his area unless, of course, he's asked. So, why don't you stay out of Dalton? You'll be fine.
Yeah. Make sure.
And if you look out your rearview mirror and you see a strange truck, a U-Haul, a Ryder, a Penske, a Mayflower behind you, just get off the road and pull a bullet into whoever's in that truck, because it's a good chance that he's looking out for you. This guy has people in most of the trades: UPS, FedEx, especially the moving trucks. For some strange reason, this guy has a hard on for moving trucks. He thinks they're fucking invisible. I've dealt with him a time or two. So if you get a moving truck behind you, some guys dressed in standard livery, just put a bullet in the heads. It's a foregone conclusion that he's coming for you. He's stalking you. He's gonna find out everything he can, and then he's gonna take it away from you piece by piece. If he's feeling charitable, if he's not, he's gonna take it from you all at once and make you watch. Depending on how many.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
So, you need places in Gary? I thought the McGinnis had money, so you could get hotel rooms whenever you needed.
Well, we're in deep shit. So we're in deep shit. We're in so much deep shit. It's hard to piece together what's going on. But let's just say that I'm having trouble with this shit. But it's worth once we're out somehow.
Okay, if you say so. So you go get your guy with the silver tongue, bring him back here. We'll give him. So get Mama Cash and Sierra to stick around for a little bit. How long is it gonna take you to get this guy?
If I'm going if I go the fastest I could get it, if he's still in the same place that when I left, 4 hours maybe.
Okay, that means the night.
It'll definitely take less than a day.
All right, sound like a plan. Let's say 5.5 hours right back here. I'll get Mama Cass and Sierra. I'll find something for them to do besides myself. Don't want the fucking Don coming at me. It's fucking ridiculous, that guy. It's okay if he plows everything moving, verdant fields or not, but the moment his slight wife looks at anybody else, he's up in arms. Anyway, you don't need to hear about that. I'll see you in 5 hours back here with your guy. Maybe we can get this job done.
Got it. I got it. Well, I need to find. I need to find Mason fast.
Yes, you do. And while Leonti steps out of the office and passes Mama Cass and Sierra as they're talking, Mama Cass eyes him like the very real piece of steak that she imagines him to be. When he leaves the building, we will take a quick 10-minute at this moment and come back with Mason and Twinette as they explore Chicago Heights. So we'll see you guys back here 18 after the hour, and we'll pick up from there. Okay? We are right at 17 after. Is everyone back? Although we don't really need everyone. We're going to start with Mason, but just double checking. Is everyone back?
I'm back.
All right. Well,
I'm here.
hello.
Iron Gullet's 3 dice, right? 3 dice, 3 dots.
What's 3 dots?
What's
Iron
blood?
Gullet.
How do I find blood potency in the rule book?
Blood potency in the rule book.
Where would I find that?
Are you looking in the hardcover? Well, the actual book, or are you looking?
I'm looking at the digital one.
Oh, well, then just Control F and type in blood potency.
Battle.
But in the book, it's like 200, 230 something. I forget the exact page, and I'm not going to open my book to double check, but it's somewhere in there.
Wait a second.
But literally, blood potency is just the strength of your blood. So, for instance,
I was asking like what the actual. I was wondering what the abilities are because I forgot that he has 2 in blood potency.
No, 2 in blood potency is the strength of his blood. It means
I know.
that he, when drinking from him, anyone with a lower generation and a lower blood potency will get more from it. For instance, with a blood potency of 2, anyone from 13th generation, a thin blood, will be effectively supercharged compared to getting the same amount of vitae from another kin. So it's the strength of his blood. It's the additional powers that exist in his blood. The potentiality for worse things to happen.
It's typically helpful when you're dealing with somebody that's torpid or extremely hurt. If you're going to donate blood, they would get twice as much healing from your 2 dot versus a 1 or no dot. blood potency, so it's helpful with that. And then there are some other things I think with your own healing that it helps you heal superficial much quicker. So that's another good reason to have a higher blood potency.
Yeah, absolutely apropos. And while you consider and look over the blood potency and take into account what Ben just revealed to you, we will focus on Mason and Toinette as they hop into her little red sports car and zoom away from the church grounds, heading towards the southeast, heading towards Chicago Heights. As they roll through the city, as they roll through the town, and they see all the differences between Chicago Heights and Dalton and Chicago Heights and Gary. They find themselves on the Alright, so right on the southeastern border of where Chicago Heights becomes Ford Heights, there is down State Street, there is a slew of differing factories and outcroppings and the many railroad tracks and railroad lines that cut through Dalton, who have a terminus in this area. As you all ease down along State Street, you all find yourselves pulling off road right in front of the concrete factory thing. It says materials and logistics. It said, welcome back. It says materials and logistics, but to be perfectly honest, Mason doesn't write war books often, but during his research,
he writes romance novels.
Yes.
It's vampire romance novels.
But during his research, not his life experience, but just during his research, the materials that are presented to him, as they ease towards the building, he has the immediate feeling as if he's pulling towards the Grand Emperor's bunker. The building is squat and large and as wide as roughly 5 or 6 houses sitting next to each other. And this is just the smaller of size entrance. The doors are huge and large enough that a plane could pull into them. This is the Bond villain's hideout. The only thing missing is "Bad Guy Lives Here" sign out. All of the gray, thick concrete slab, all of the construction vehicles, large mixers and cranes, bulldozers stacked to one side of the building, or parked to one side of the building, forming a line. There are guards on duty. There is a foreboding about the place that even Mason couldn't deny. You are pulling into the bad guys' central compound. From the road to here, there's nothing but open ground, meaning that in terms of escape, you'd all be sitting ducks if they had snipers, and you're pretty sure that they're probably off. The building you passed just north by about 500 feet, still within range of an easy shot, and with nothing but clear and open space, there's nothing to hide behind. Would you put something between you and an incoming hail of you shoot you in the face and you pissed off the wrong person? All the lights are on and the 2 cameras facing the roadway are blinking ways right up to the door when she gets out.
Okay. I too get out. I am up next to Toinette.
Now, mates, but these guys are pretty militant. Think beef jerky and deer shot every weekend.
Okay.
So, with that image in mind, Twinette and Mason enter in, and no one appears mysteriously and miraculously out of thin air to stop them. In fact, as they open the door, which is unlocked, they are greeted with a "Hey!" You see several people wave towards the door. You see the complete absence of workers and employees, but instead there are several tables set up, several plastic tables set up with people playing cards. There's money on the tables, and on the catwalks lining the place are people moving to and fro carrying semi-automatic rifles.
I wave.
You guys are clearly not dressed for the party. You probably want to head back to the office. Oh, hey, that's Toinette. Hey, how's it going? What's up? You all move through the crowd. Several faces. Extend a hand so she can high five as you come by. Give you the head nod and a few smiles. And for the most part, it looks as if you just walked in on a backroom party to which Mason has been into 7. The only unnerving part is the fact that the catwalks and parapets are being manned by people with firearms.
So, they got a lot of men here. I whisper to Twinette.
Yeah, they normally don't have the girls by until later, after the money has been divvied up and people have been shot.
I mean as in manpower.
Yeah, I told you. Think beef jerky, jerky shot. These guys are very they're very paranoid. Very.
Mason can't help but think we could probably wipe the floor with these guys. Oh, yeah, so Mason's trying to be on his best behavior and not piss anybody off.
And when you finally make it to the back office, inside the back office is a guy dressed like the absolute best punk chic you have seen in years. He's wearing a tattered leather jacket. His hair is slicked back. And it looks as if it's feathers from a would-be mohawk if he let the sides grow out a little bit longer. He is munching, almost open mouth, just handful of Swedish fish. Behind the desk is a young lady, looks into her mid-30s, early 40s, dark black hair, her eyes almost equally dark, and on her right is a tall gentleman who basically looks like Zangief from Street Fighter. Big bushy beard, arms as wide as most people's thighs, scars lining his arms, breaking up the tattoos which were there. And he, unlike the gentleman shoving in handfuls of Swedish fish, actually does have a full-fledged mohawk and looks freshly cut as well. With the skin showing signs of sun exposure and fresh crispness of a clean cut.
I would.
Scary. And they all, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. This is our city cousin, Forcipules. What's up? I'm here for the party and the fuck shit up, but I have no interest in the party. Who are you? I'm Twinette. This is my friend Mason, and him and his friends are involved in that mess and carry, and they're going to help us. Oh, you mean all the pacifists that are running from the trouble in the city? Don't how good they got it to want to move out to the middle of bumblefuck, tip over cows instead of go to orgies? You mean the quitters? not exactly quitters, but yes, we are. We really don't have the force of arms that Julian does. We don't have the force of arms you do to them. So to help them, so they can help us, I brought one of their leaders. Forcipules stands up. You realize that he's taller than you by about 2 inches. And
That's scary. Makes him 6 foot.
And he is clearly a man given to extremes. He has fresh tattoos across his knuckles. His jacket, like I said, has been tattered, and it's clear the tatters of his jacket are not stylistic flourishes. They have been from incidents. There's the scent of gun smoke about him, and he smells as if he just freshly walked out of an orgy.
Well,
So-
Mason, though a Toreador, he does not particularly like that sexual desire.
So you mean to tell me that you're a leader? And he shoves another handful of Swedish fish into his mouth, looks at the box, which is almost empty, and shakes his head as if it's the worst thing that he's ever experienced. Oh,
So-
that sucks.
I mean, we could say that I'm a leader.
People can say a lot of things, and they do all the damn time. I met this guy the other night who said that he was clearly a foot, barely made 3 inches. So are you a leader or are you not? If you're not a leader, then what the fuck is she bringing you here? These people are about it. I'm actually talking to them about coming into the city to help us kick the shit out of Julian so that we don't have to deal with his dumb ass.
So,
Does her best to not say anything.
Mason puts on his acting face. He chuckles at that, and he goes, "Well, if you want Julian out of the city, then why don't you help him get out of the city?"
Well, you see, unlike you, I got rules, and perfectly honest, never work when you don't have to. These guys like shooting up people. These guys like causing hell. These guys, once I'm done experiencing all of the very many carnal and food pleasures, I might experience and dabble in the violent pleasures. But right now, it's not on my agenda. Close, but not yet.
So, what is on your agenda then?
There are still 46 positions from the Kama Sutra I haven't tried. I've only just worked my way into Asian cuisine, and what you all call candy, made from these insect shellac, are fucking delicious.
Well,
When I sample all of those, maybe I'll get to the just simple physical pleasures of the violent sort. Right now, it's just too much living to do.
I envy that. Because he can't, taste anything. Well, you mean, he can't eat food. Shiitake mushrooms. Well, I can do whatever I want. It's just I don't want to go throw it up afterwards.
Why not? Binging is fun, especially the purge part. Fill yourself back up with more.
Okay.
Especially the part where your eyes water up and just all of that gooey, viscous mucus starts draining from your nose and mixing with your retch. Fucking enjoyable feeling. Why don't you guys like it?
Mason shakes a little and goes, okay. So, what about money? Would you protect us for money?
No, I wouldn't. They might. But I was here first. I'm not done negotiating.
Okay, so what do you want besides candy? Oh, I can give you an unlimited supply of candy. Really?
An unlimited. Meaning it doesn't stop till I get tired. And even then, there's still more.
Okay, when you phrase it like that, you sound, yes, unlimited candy.
Excellent. Let's go get this candy.
Just fucking snap my fingers, candy pops out. Well, Mason's not me, so he probably doesn't have butterscotch discs in his pocket. Just throw a shot at me. Sorry, I am a bit of a boomer. Mason's just like, okay. Then he makes a call and just like, makes a call to like, I ask him what candy he's craving right now.
All of it. The gummier, the better. The more insect shellac used, the better. This stuff is delicious. I don't know why I waited so long. I know why. It's just delicious. No different. The chips.
Is he a vampire?
The cookies. Oh,
He's remembering the good taste
okay,
of
so
human shit.
fucking the most scrumptious and most. Okay, let me think. He's already fucking downing Swedish fish. Dots. Hershey's. I'm just gonna say I order a box of the finest candies. Turkish delights. Ooh, Turkish delights.
the gummier, the better.
Yeah.
The more bug material used to make it, I found is probably the best. So you want to use a lot.
Bug material?
Yeah. Look at the ingredients. It's all bugs. Especially with the gummies, you guys grind up the shells for the bright colors and you mix them in. And kids eat this. No wonder the kids fall in love with it. There's nothing tastier than a freshly killed bug. So the fresher the candy, the better.
There's some candy that have bugs in it, but not all.
You think that? Why do you think chocolate tastes so good?
It's made from cocoa beans.
And how do the cocoa beans get fertilized?
By
The bugs that make their nests in the plant that are ground up part of the chocolate.
Okay, well, anyways, I'll get here. So a monthly supply of candies.
No, you said unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited.
I eat my fill. Do you know there's a human body that, like what we're inhabiting now, the stomach can swell with over 5 gallons of material.
I look over at Fournette like I want to kill this dude.
And in my case, I don't get stomach. I probably should count for roughly 10 gallons every hour for the next until I get tired.
I do. Let me see. 10 gallons of candy. That's probably what, about $1,000 worth of candy. So, oof. Yeah, monthly
Grand
supply
per
candy.
hour for this shit.
Mason goes, yeah. Okay, by that judgment, I'm not made of money. Made of money.
No,
I can. Monthly supply
that's not what you're offering.
of 10 grand worth of candy
That's not what you're offering. That's not what I
every
said.
month for the next 12 months.
So you're attempting to renegotiate.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing?
Even negotiate. No, I'm saying what unlimited with. You can get unlimited candies.
It's
You know.
not unlimited if there's an end. Why do you all, you human former beings, not understand English? This
Human former being. Weren't you a human former being?
He smiles, and do some kind of as to roll your wits plus insight or wits plus awareness.
Wits plus wits or wits. Okay. Okay. Wits plus awareness or wits plus insight. I'm gonna go with insight. Or that is 6 instead of 5.
Get a +1 because you're rolling for 20 at 2.
Cool. So add 1 die or
The first generation?
Yeah, add 1 die.
okay. So 7.
Don't tell
Is
me.
my hunger at 1 then?
No, just your hunger. You just get a bonus of 1 die.
No, is my hunger at 1 since I've been technically feeding
Yes.
with. Oh!
Damn.
Do you have aspects?
Frost does. I do not. Oh, yes, I do. Heightened senses.
Oh! Alright. So, as he smiles, as it smiles, to use the proper terminology,
Oh, God, what the fuck is this thing?
for the briefest glimmer, a flash of truth exists there between you, Juanette, Forcipules, Nino, and the others in the office. For a brief second, as he smiles, the truth of what he might be exists there. And it takes longer than that flash for you to recognize it, for you to see that the eyes are blank of life, that they are black pools, reflective mirrors. You see wherein Juanette's face there, his teeth are as a maw and not just vampire fangs and pearly whites stuck together with various bits and bobs of food, cast off Swedish fish. No, it is a row of teeth behind the necks, not like a sharp, like a going further back into his being than he has flesh. You see that this bipedal form standing before you is a mask. It is an ill-fitting suit of cloth. The soul inside this being, yes, there's a soul there that weighs heavily. You feel its pressure is larger than this, and it stretches out into the infinity of the shadow when it crosses the veil to the otherness. It's housed in the body, but it is not this body. It is other. It is.
Oh, shit.
And just for a brief glimmer, it was there as its temporary anger at you breaking or renegotiating a deal. That's the linchpin behind it all. Speaking directly to the truth of the thing. And that's it. That's all. As if it doesn't understand the various permutations of truth that people live with. perception, implied meaning versus what's actually said. Those things are foreign to it.
Fuck. I'm just like, Toinette, the fuck? Did you get me?
Would you be so kind as to roll for Toinette's your successes? Managed to get a glimpse of it. That is 5 die and 1 home.
Okay, 5 die
She
and 1.
needs 3. She needs 3 successes. Less 3 successes, and she will enter into the influx facsimile of a fear frenzy.
And difficulty 3?
Yes.
Does she have willpower?
She begins backing away, her head shaking. I think we give you time. Sorry, Tonino, don't mean to. And that same fear for a brief second flits across Tonino's face, and there's a moment of understanding between them. There are order things out there, all things they've done throughout the entirety of their life. And one of them is sitting there. Mason, I think we should go. We'll be back. We're sorry. We're gonna go find some candy. We'll just. And she's away from Mason.
Yeah, I'ma slowly go with her, but trying to keep an eye on Wormy.
You all don't have to leave. Forgive me. I don't like dishonesty. Don't like changing the agreement. I don't mind you being out for self. That you should be out for. It's like I should be out for self. But changing the agreement, and then he looks to Tonino. I was here first. I need you all to go into the city and assassinate you, or at least keep him, so that I can steal more of his pretty little dust. There's so much life I could teach them. So much appreciation. And as the conversation goes on, Mason and Toinette are all but clear that he's refocused on the matter that had him to this Dustborn army. And it settles over Mason as they back out of the office. And all the people that they've passed, all the people in the ramparts are very much not as alive as they think. They are in fact the Dustborn, much like Toinette and Eric, except for these have banded together and bonded together to form an actual army. Not involved in the esoteric or supernatural. There is gunpowder, firepower.
I whisper to Toinette and I go, I don't know what the fuck that dude is, but we need his help. And we need his army.
It's not his army, it's Tonino's army. I don't think there's gonna be an army left if Tonino doesn't do whatever he wants to do, whatever that thing wants to do. This is not good. He's the other reason why we're leaving Chicago. That Dustborn body being piloted is the other reason. We're escaping Julian in the shelter. And there was another faction that popped up within the last few weeks, last few months. And they were led by this supposedly spooky guy. And I think that's him.
Okay. So how do you suppose we can get out of here?
We can walk. We can get to the car. Let's go. Let's go. I don't want to be. We'll come back and see everybody who's alive.
Well, see, Mason will be fine walking out in the open and then getting shot at because of rapid reflexes, but he's not sure if Toinette can.
And as Mason considers that if they were to cause a ruckus, that open ground would be a death sentence for anyone else, we can shift our gaze back to Ben and Marcus following behind Naomi's car as she and they arrive down Chicago High. They are outside of a place called TJ's Roadhouse. TJ's Roadhouse is literally that. It is a roadhouse. It is a huge barn-like structure sitting just off of the road. Their parking lot is twice as large as most people would assume would be needed, and it is packed and filled. Her SUV pulls to the side of the road, and the passenger gets out and opens the door for her. She steps out and waits for Ben and Marcus to pull to a stop.
Okay, boss lady, best faces.
Park us slightly in front of theirs. I have a plan or a thought.
I once they've stopped, I drift ahead of theirs and park in front of them. And I get out.
Ben is going to make herself look like she's looking for something on the floor that she might have dropped, like a lipstick or something. But she's going to carefully take a picture of the front framing of the SUV so that the license plate is in view, and it looks like they're being followed.
Should be some kind of go ahead and roll. Let's go with dexterity and technology.
Cat, technology I don't have. Should I like browse for that?
That's entirely up to you. Technology is definitely not Ben's thing. And as Marcus crosses to meet Naomi, who's standing street side, there's a flash of light behind him that somehow goes not that it goes unnoticed, but as the flash of Ben's phone goes off, the speed camera across the street goes off at the exact same. You see the driver frown, get out of the car, and begin looking north and south, up and down the street, wondering exactly what the fuck is going on. While the passenger, which is clearly a direct body man and technology assistant, interposes himself between the street and Naomi, shouting, shadowing her to shield her from behind. So, and she frowns a little bit, looking past Marcus, but then focuses on the business at hand.
Yeah, Ben gets out smoothly, like she's confused as to what all is going on, watching them move around, and the phone's already put away, but she's like, gets out looking to something wrong?
There usually is, but we'll ignore it for now. This area, as I told you, is a bit contested. However, based on your donation, this business, which has existed here under several different shelters, will be part and parcel of the territory. You can, of course, hold it by your own strength of arms, but just so that you are aware, the information as to many different forces aligned to take this area is another separate financial matter. I can generously give you the fact that the bulk of the I know you're going to find this laughable. But unlike in Chicago, like in Dalton, the Finbucks and several Cato have banded together gangs and they control area. Most of the crime or activities run, they periodically frequent this location for refreshment and entertainment, but they are, while not individually problematic, as like an infestation of bugs. Take a good fumigation team.
So things are up in the air, is what you're saying.
Yes, but most things are. With a firm hand, I'm sure the area can be tamed. After all, with its proximity to the expressway, Chicago within 30 minutes, Gary 40 minutes. It is a good location, and it's part and parcel of the property we have to gain. There are several we have in this area because further south, things become.
So this would be someplace where we would need to know that exists.
Yes, and as per your donation, the show that operates this establishment was yours. This could be your center of your affairs if you so chose.
Well, in the interest of bridging trust and not knowing what the future holds for us in our Gary endeavors, I think the donation should cover just merely proximity to this location.
Well, we do have several properties not too far. This, of course, is the centerpiece of that consolidated portfolio. Your donation will cover the entirety of that portfolio, but it would also entail you pricing several other properties owned by this particular consumer.
Peak interest, long-term gain.
Well, I'm sure that our fellow clan and kin have informed you that part and parcel of the services that we offer, that I offer, is proximity. And locations that we've scouted out and obtained and have for purchase are all but operational. All the businesses for various occasions are operational, held in trust by various shell companies, necessitating a certain amount of privacy for their customers, while also providing a bit of return on investment.
There is one among our number that would excel in this environment.
Looks towards them. Their stage isn't large enough production theater, but I'm sure that with a little renovation that must.
Well, no, I was thinking management and spreading of word of this location in the right circles. This member of our association would fit in well in that area. And a building this size could hide a multitude of my sins.
And one car rushes past, triggering the speed camera, and another car speeds by, triggering the speed camera, and then you both roll wits and
See the last bit again?
wits and awareness.
Although, I'm thinking manipulations within the city would have to move that further down the street.
If you would like to move your property, that's entirely up to you.
No, I'm thinking the speed camera.
Correct. If you would like to move your property, that is entirely up to you.
Yes, I think that would have to be moved.
You can, of course, do it yourself. It is after property.
Yeah, I think a more advantageous angle, something a little more up to date. I mean, you have friends, but I have skills, and that's one of them.
See? And Mason, would you be so kind as to go ahead and awareness as Juanette speeds down the street away from the terrible massacre she believes is possible in the
Just awareness, or did you say something else?
Wits and awareness.
Wits and awareness. Okay. Let's see. Wits is 3, awareness is 2. My luck's not.
As Toinette is speeding along, the flash of the camera causes you to avert your gaze, and as you see Ben and Marcus literally dressed to the nines, talking to a lady. She is very much a toreador on vacation. Marcus is in a suit. Ben is in a dress. Not any dress, but a poofy rockabilly dress.
That is amazing.
Okay. So Mason doesn't say anything and they keep going?
Yeah, Mason's priority right now is Toinette. Whatever the help in, and he can help once he knows Toinette's safe.
Okay. As you all are standing there and talking about the speed camera across the street, you could swear that little red Thunderbird is going past you guys heading north. Here's Toinette's little souped up roadster. And it's clear that most people who take this route are heavy on gas and light on the brake. And you mentioned that you have skills, and she informed you that in fact is your property. But I understand that you all are have things that you attend, as do I. If this property isn't up to standards, you can make other ones.
No, we'll take it. I like it. It's got good bones. And then just looking at Marcus like, did you just fucking see that?
Marcus has I didn't see shit look on his face. And it's bolted on. He'd solder it on if he could find a soldering gun right now.
Well, we have information. Walter has you. I have to get to a council meeting of sorts. And I will be able to be reached tomorrow evening, roughly the same time, give or take, via Walter. We can finalize and tell that you're. But as for now, I suggest going inside, taking around, taking an ambient, current customer base, and making yourselves at home. Again, I look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Our deal, making sure that all the ownership is transferred over, and you all will be settled in.
I think that would work out well.
Excellent. It's always a pleasure doing business with family members. And I wish you all the best of luck. She gets to her car and the driver backs away and swings around you all, and he does so at a speed fast enough to trigger the speed camera as they take off.
As soon as they make the first turn off of this main drag, I let out a huge animated breath. I haven't used those muscles in 13 years. Oh, my head hurts. Okay,
What muscles? What are you talking about?
the ventral muscles. The hours and hours of training. Oh my god. I forgot what pain in the ass sucking up was.
That's what you were doing? Oh.
Yeah, that's the way they talk all the time.
Yikes. So we brought ourselves a building?
Venture don't own buildings. They own enterprises that are represented by buildings. What she sold us was a chunk of her stake in the city. This building is her flag post. And she has power over the area to some extent. And I'd have to look at the paperwork and try to remember how to translate from legalese to English. But she made it sound like a big chunk.
There's also the fact that she's worried about the Duskborn and we aren't? Question mark?
Well, not really. But she doesn't know that. She is unaware. She thinks I may have led her to believe that I am not broken and that I am active within the blues.
Well, whatever works. We're running out of time, so let's go do it once over and then figure out how to do the second part of whatever the fuck it is we have to do tonight.
And trying to make me laugh when those two idiots drove by, don't do that again.
Bit is snickering on her own anyway. Hey, I just wanted to see if you saw it. I mean, I promise next time in front of your fancy friends that I won't embarrass you.
You're not funny. God is drinking. And I lead the way towards the bar.
As you all walk into the building, you have an immediate, instinctual gut check reaction. You walk into a place that you should be hearing Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings, and instead you have the yin-yang wind of Six Mafia. Everyone is in a jersey of some sort, whether they're wearing shorts or jeans or skinny jeans or baggy jeans, combat boots or Timbs. It's a hodgepodge of the most stereotypical urban style of dress imaginable. You can count the number of men who don't either have clean-cut bald heads or dreadlocks on one hand. That's including the staff. Most of the people look as if they could play sports of one variety or another, so long as hitting another person or kicking another person as hard as you can. There are more muscles on display that have nothing near that you have seen in one place ever. It is apparent that this is the place where people test their fear muscle, because the staff, security of the place all start at a minimum height of 6'2", a minimum weight of upwards of 275 or better, and all with a presence about them that says, find out. You don't even have to fuck around.
Well, Vince, you found your people. My 6'4" skinny white ass is a little out of place, huh?
Only because you're wearing a suit. There is no attire that has a collar in the place. There's no attire that has pressed slacks. There are no tie. Except for the one girl who's at the test your strength punch machine, wearing a tie on top of a wife beater with suspenders and baggy cargo jeans.
Not my person.
Then is like gobsmacked, but then they're excited as hell. They're like literally like eyes huge and like bouncing up and down in their heels. Like, oh my god, this is amazing.
The mental countdown that you didn't realize you were making has reached 10, and as if on cue, someone shoves someone and you, how the fuck is fists start to. And as that fracas breaks out, we switch gears to Mr. Bishop. You are on your way to the Adonis, to the center of Dalton's political strength, home, Domme. You immediately know that you are underdressed, underrepresented, and have quickly managed to approach a hall of power. The building itself is a burnt red brick, very few neons, but there is decidedly a stepped into or beset with eyes glistening. There's no clear or obvious security, but everyone notices as you enter. You see that on the stage is a drag review of La Cage aux Follies, and they are mid-number and don't break stride, and somehow begin getting eyes back to them. They are doing their faces. Mom, chain kick, eye up there, and they are 100% full entertainment mode. People who are gathered around the bar and who are sitting in the booths look as if they are always on. They are always on stage. They live by the adulation of their and then in their height, unmistakable presence. You are literally sore as though there has been. And Leonti, right about the time that Joshua is at the Adonis, you're easing to a stop outside of the church. And there is the rental vehicle. That little red sports dog. And there's a pervasive sense because you don't hear any noise. They gaggle. spider sense source that begins to take.
Okay, wait. So he's feeling a bad feeling, because the cars are gone. What else?
It's too quiet. The dog
I
knows
see.
hard. Everybody walking down the street, the dog is barking. But there you go.
Leonetti quickly starts moving calmly into a place of cover and pulls out his phone to call Mason and ask him where he is.
Wait, so I've been distracted tonight. Me and Leonetti are together.
You walked into the Adonis to meet up with Ben and Marcus, and the crowd that's inside is decidedly overdressed compared to Joshua. Joshua is decidedly underdressed, considering that everyone here is dressed for a night out in town, dressed as their favorite celebrity.
Oh, yeah, I have a sinking feeling, right?
Yeah.
About enemies that brought. Okay, I understand.
And Leonti, you call Marcus, and as the phone rings, just before Mason picks up, we end the coterie at their various disparate locations, separated by time and distance, but each having walking into a precarious situation. And I thank you all for a lovely episode, and I will see you next episode so we can settle down this for the many telltale events and movies and themselves.
Okay. See ya.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Good night.
Sorry, I've been a bit freaking distracted.